Hello everyone, I am Phantom and you are watching my Water Star adventure 30 star speedrun done in 31 minutes 11 seconds. First off, this is a pretty weird hack and it's probably the most difficult hack I have run. So, during the first 3 levels of this hack, the game will play like this. It's non-stop, by that I mean that you can collect stars and still stay in the level. Every star will ask you to save like any 100 coin star would normally. And well, that's how the first half plays. And by the first half, it's like 21 stars. It's just the first 3 levels. So what can I say? This game is just pretty difficult. It changes the water physics and the camera, how it handles, and that's probably the most challenging part for me. Right? Being non-stop, it means that I can't die because that means losing all your coins and, well, there's a coin star. Okay, so now that I got the first time, I stalled for long enough, but this is the hardest trick in the run. It's a skip that requires a first D after a triple jump with a precise angle, and the angle is hard even with visual cues. And firsties, well, firsties are firsties. There we go. Firsties are not the same in this game. You have actually more frames to get one. I think it's 4 frames, which is quite, well, I mean, it's way easier. Shout out to Drunk Crazy for finding that skip, by the way, it says 1 minute. But yeah, it's still a very dangerous skip. Speaking of skips, I've myself found this skip here. This abuses the fact that the angle required to get a wide kick is different in this hack than in most other hacks. I think it's 50, probably 50. Normally it's like 44.9 or 45, I'm not sure. But yeah, that one says 20 seconds, not as much, but the most important part is that it saves the fact that you don't need to swim through the water tubes that are up here, right? So, speaking of water, I think it's about I introduce this mechanic, I guess, but the swimming in this hack is weird. It's way different than usual. First off, the camera stays the way it is. So it doesn't go behind you like it normally could, which can be good or can be bad. The most important change, or the most important changes, since it's more than one, but first off, you can kick, wide kick, and dive out of a water jump. Normally, when you jump out of the water, you can't do anything. You can't even control your momentum. You can move Mario around. You are helpless. You can only let up. Here you can do anything you can do out of a single jump, and that's great. Like that's the best thing this hack has to offer. It's groundbreaking. I would like to see that in more hacks, to be honest. The other difference will be how the water boxes work. On any other hack, or most hacks, when you enter a body of water, Mario goes straight up to the surface of that body of water. That's pretty important because that means that if you enter from a side, then you will snap back up. That doesn't happen in here because otherwise the mechanic wouldn't work. Oh, here's another example of the special wide kick angle. That wouldn't be possible in other hacks. This hack has a lot of wide kick design around that, which is nice sometimes. Sometimes it's a little annoying, like here, because you need to move the camera around. And missing that dive into the platform is very annoying. But yeah, it's well done mostly here, so that aside, just gonna collect some coins to finish the coin star. If you have noticed, I'm way past 100 coins already, but in this hack you need 150, which is, with the exception of the Phantom's Call, which is another 30 star hack that has like very tiny levels, but with only that exception, this is a hack that requires the most. That other hack required 200, but that makes sense for that one. It makes sense here too. The levels are pretty big and they have like 300 coins each. And because it's non-stop, ideally you don't die at any point, so you keep all your coins all the way through and complete the coin star at some point. I rerouted this hack so the coin star ends when I bring the last penguin in here. By the way, that's a pretty neat thing this hack has. You need to bring 3 penguins instead of just 1. And it has some clever use of the water mechanic, as you can see. But yeah, this star is long as hell. Just a lot of swimming with the penguins. But there is a coin ring down here, so this is where I finish the coin star. But yeah, you wouldn't be able to enter a body of water from below like I'm doing here, because bodies of water on most hacks and in Mario 64 extend infinitely downwards. So yeah, we have some. This is like a shout out to Sapphire, but some hands-free penguin stuff going on. I think also Drunk Crazy also found it. It's pretty neat. I always love doing stuff like that. So yeah, now that we brought the last penguin, this is the last star in this course. Course 3 is pretty hard to be honest, and it's the reason why it's the first one. Like it has that very dangerous skip at the start and well the other skips. And it's just overall hard to be honest. So now I go into course 2. This is one of my favorite courses, but it's also pretty hard. I mean everything is hard in this hack and it only gets harder, but we get to that later. This was a very weird course to route, since most of it is lava, so I didn't have that many options, and I was the one that routed this one in particular. Like Andrew took care of the routing for most of the game, but I did route this one to help and to do something. It was way different. Like at some point I changed the route and we do red coins first, but it used to be different. But whatever, that doesn't matter now. I think that dying here is very easy. And you know, you can die. Later levels will let you die without losing your run, literally. Like you still will lose a lot of time, but it's not the same as just straight up killing the run. If I leave this area and I die with that many coins, then the run is already dead, to be honest. But yeah, there's not much to say about course 2 actually, because it's pretty straightforward. It doesn't have like that many ground breaking skips. It's just literally just trying to order stuff in a way that benefits you. And you know, just going fast, I guess. Here I do a little skip with a triple jump wall kick, just to skip some swimming section, which isn't a big deal, but yeah, it's there. I do need to say I hate this part and I hate this cog. Jumping here is extremely awkward and you have to go back and forth to make it work. Just to reach this water boss. Now, all of this could be skipped with 3 firsties and an arch wall kick at the end from below this platform, but that is just extremely hard because the angles with the camera don't work, so I'd rather just do all of that. Also, this is the most interesting skip, which is instead of going from the start to the volcano area, we can jump from up there into this place, and that's why I had to reroute this. Originally, the route started by going from the start into this volcano and this star, and then doing the red coin area. This is much better. Shout out to Ivor, I think. He was the one that suggested that. This star is pretty nice, by the way. It's very fun casually, and well, speedrun also it just can be a little frustrating if you fail one of these jumps. But I guess that applies to everything this hack. So now I just grab these coins, skip the rest of the hack, and go up here. It's amazing how my original route, like the earliest route, had me going through this tube like 3 times, and now it's just 1. That's pretty nice. Now I need to use the jump dives out of the water, which is probably one of my favorite things about this hack. in order to do this, because you are not supposed to go this way. You are supposed to be coming from this way using this water stream. But yeah, I use the dive momentum to keep me going, so I can dive straight up. As soon as I enter the water, I can just dive out, which is really nice and very similar to how you will do it in Mario Sunshine. And obviously very fast. Okay, here we have another skip. Instead of going down and doing the normal path, I just long jump here to these water bots. It's actually kind of precise, and I think I killed 1 or 2 rounds to this by just missing the water and, well, dying. Dying with over 100 coins is absolutely a run killer. There's no way to recover that. That's like 5 minutes, 7. But yeah. But the pyramid section is pretty tricky as well, and this is not seen on 26 star. That's another thing about this hack. Like the intended star count is 26 stars, and it has 30 stars, so it's just 4 stars difference. Well, 2 of the stars in this level are part of those 4 stars that I don't collect in the other category. One being this one. No, actually 3 of them. One being this one, the one on the top of this pyramid place, and the coin star, since you complete the coin route here. There are so many coins in this place, and giant enemies for some reason. But yeah, the giant enemies are actually pretty strange. They have some collision issues. This guy is super fast for some reason. It's just overly, it's just jank, to be honest. But I appreciate it. You don't see this very often. So there is a coin star, and on the top, which is the last time in this place. Overall, I really enjoy this level, and also that that wall kick is so funny. The angle just definitely shouldn't work, but it does. Now into course 1. Course 1, you guessed it, it's pretty hard as well. But I changed the route for myself. This is not really faster, but I go for the star first, simply because I'm very likely to die here. So doing it without coins actually let me keep going, and there we go. Jumping out of the water is one of the many issues this hack comes with by changing the water physics. It's just way harder than in any other hack. But yeah, that's fine. You can deal with that. That's why I rerouted this. Normally you go for a different star in which you collect some coins, and I didn't want that since I was so likely to die to this. And after you grab this star, you get warped to the start, so it's pretty much like, if I die now, it wouldn't matter because I already collected that star, so yeah, I think it's a good idea to do that star first. And as you can see, this star is pretty dangerous, and there are some invisible walls here, so you could just randomly die. So yeah, it works. I had to do a triple jump, so I bypassed the slope. Normally I did this with a long jump before, but it wasn't working as well, so triple jump it is. I'm just glad that I'm out of there, to be honest. It's really easy to die to the slide. So yeah, just do some coin collecting on this main room. And now this star, I have seen so many people like struggling this star casually. So I'm glad that Andrew, or yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Andrew that found this skip. You literally just, you're supposed to do a series of wall kicks around this place. But you can just jump out of the water and wall kick up to the other water bots. This skips most of the star. Only this final section remains, and that's amazing. There you go. That's a fantastic star to do casually, to be honest. It just uses the being able to wall kick out of the water and the wall kick angle together. It's pretty nice. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie here. I forgot what this bomb actually skips. I don't even remember how to get down there. Like, you come from some area wall kicking up, I don't even remember, honestly. Like, for me, this is how you do the star now. So yeah, I'm glad that was fun. Not an easy, not an easy bomb clip. You need a pretty good angle. Alright, just some more coin collecting in this room as well. For some reason, this blue coin is never despawn. Not sure if that was changed on an update or not, but they just, if you've missed one, you are gonna hear that track, 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 track sound forever because they don't despawn. But yeah, this light is the last place where you could die. After that, I would say it's impossible to die in this level. That's why I leave it for last out of the three main levels. It's not easier, but you die less, and you are allowed to die without losing your run, as you can see. So that's good. This water section with the red coins is extremely annoying, by the way, and I rarely made that. Normally jump straight from one pyramid to the other one and dive. But I don't know why I did this walking here, but it worked, so who cares. Now I'm pretty sure I missed this jump. No, never mind. Wow, okay, normally I just miss the jumps here. It's not that punishing. You can just walk it, no, you can just jump from the water below to the upper water. I don't even know how to say that, but oh yeah, I did well. Alright, and from here we get the last star, or the last couple stars, since we still have to get the coin star. Just some tricky, I don't know how to call this, I guess water platforming, because you are using them as platforms in some aspect. But yeah, this will be the sub area of this level. Now we use the Wacky angle for our advantage, so we can skip some more water platforming. That's something very neat about this Wacky patch. It's probably the only thing that I like about it. Yeah, then here an easy first to get up here. Remember, firsts are easy in this hack. And we are done with the level. Now, I could have golded without the first death, to be honest, but I don't know. I'm just, at this point, I'm just glad that the run's still going, to be honest. Getting out of that early game is so hard. Problem is that it doesn't get better. And I say that because this second overworld is brutal. Now, the rules change dramatically in here. First off, these are called perspective levels, and that's because your camera is locked. So instead of being able to use all of your 8 cardinal directions, you can only use 3. And that's, well, that's just as bad as it sounds. It makes this jump in particular extremely hard and run defining. Now, I'm not sure how I did, but just watch. Maybe you noticed, but I got 2 firsties on my way up there. Without those 2 firsties, you don't ledger up, and that's just very bad, to be honest. But I think you only need one, but first thing with that camera there and with those angles is just extremely awkward. But yeah, course 4 is usually the killer. Also, you probably noticed, but I was kicked out after getting the star. So that's another thing this course has changed. This is the first ROM hack I have ever seen do this, but it changes between non-stop to traditional mid-hack. So there are 4 levels on this second overworld. Each of them has 2 stars and they kick you out of the level, they change music for every star, and they change, well, they just change, like every star uses the layout differently, which is pretty nice. My only problem is the perspective camera makes this some of the hardest stars in a speedrun that I have to collect, to be honest. That water tube that I just swim through, it has killed so many of my attempts simply because I didn't know where it was when I was swimming there, so that snuff it could just hit me out of the water and I would just die. That's nice. Good thing about some of these courses is that they have a lot of skips, like this one. By doing that, I don't even know what I skip, but it's a time, believe me. And also this wall kick here. You're supposed to keep going with the slow, so I just decided to use the 45 angle wall kick patch to my advantage, so you get that nice wall kick up there. Not sure how much it saves, but it's definitely faster. But yeah, course 5 is also hard, as you probably guessed. It used to be my most consistent course, but at some point I just got bad at it. Yeah, here's another skip using an arch wall kick. That barely makes it, but it's good. This saves a lot of time. Probably 40 seconds, maybe more, because using the water is slow, as you can see. And you are supposed to use the water before this, so yeah. That was probably a gold. Nope, almost. Oh yeah, I forgot to split. So normally I use an auto splitter that Aglab 2 made for ROM hacks, but some of the newest hacks made on the comp aren't compatible with that, so you can't actually use auto splitter or in-game time. So I had to split manually for the first time in like 2 years, and damn, I didn't like that. Okay, that's another nice skip. Here's another one. As I'm just fine with skips in this area, simply because I really dislike this stage. I think in my casual playthrough, this is the first stage from the perspective levels that I entered, and this was a major disappointment for me. Because I was having such a good time with the other levels, and then we got this. Swimming with the camera locked, it's just not fun. But I understand why Scalbook did this. You probably noticed, but whenever you enter a level, you get like a message. So there are a lot of like religious messages in this game. I don't know why, but I liked it. Like I'm not religious, but I don't know. I just like the spirit of the hack, let's say, and the perspective levels go along with that ideology. So it's like just change your perspective kind of message. It's a neat sentiment. Oh wow, that's the worst mistake you are gonna see in this run. It's a neat sentiment, but when you translate it to gameplay, then yeah, I wish it wasn't like that. Or at least it would have been nice to have more camera angles to work with. It's just 3 of them out of 8. I mean, could have been better with 5 or 4. Just saying. But yeah, that was a major mistake right there. Because I didn't get this second long jump. That's pretty bad. But yeah, everything else should be fine. Now, I'm fairly used to losing time in these courses. Any of them can give you a mistake that even they don't need to kill you to take a lot of time if you make a mistake, as you can see. I'm pretty sure I lost over 25 seconds there. But whatever. I mean, that was literally my bad. It wasn't even the water, or I can't blame the game for anything. I just missed a jump. Just simple as. Speaking of missing jumps, that's literally my specialty when it comes to this level. Now, this is probably the easiest out of the 4, but it's still pretty hard, as you can imagine. Not hard to survive in, but hard to not lose time to. Now, that walkie right there wasn't supposed to happen. I'm supposed to just walk into the roof. Well, you're not supposed to walk into the roof. That's a skip. I'm skipping a lot of war sections with that, but yeah, I wasn't expecting to get that, so I'm glad that I actually got that walkie off the tiny ledge of the roof because, while you don't die in this course, you do lose a lot of time when you miss these jumps. And the red coin mission here is probably one of my least favorites, simply because of these 3 reds here. Now, swimming is fine, but swimming with the camera that far from Marian locked to be parallel cam, it's hard to tell where these red coins are, so I'm just surprised I didn't miss any of those three because that was a common thing. Missing any of the red coins and having to swing back. Now we use the angry wacky to skip more sections. And I skip a lot here by doing this triple jump into a slope. I don't know how you're supposed to do that, to be honest. When I played casually, I did another skip using these slopes at the side of the stage. Simply because I just didn't know what to do. Oh, speaking of the slopes at the side, so this mistake that you just saw is fairly common, so I literally just did what I did on my casual playthrough as a backup. Just frame walk there and use the slopes to get up. Honestly, I always lose time to this jump. It's just hard to tell where Mario is when you're jumping on top of the other slope to get up there. But you know what? That's fine. Because all in all, despite those two big mistakes, this is a pretty good run for this hack. So yeah. Now we go the other way on the other wall because we already unlocked the final stage. The final stage unlocks at 25 stars, but because you get 1 star in the process of finishing the game, that's why the intended star count is 26 stars as opposed to 25. Still a very small difference, to be honest. But yeah, this first and this moment is to get the early cycle here, which I'm glad that I got because it's not that easy as it looks. Once again, shout out to Andrew for that, because I'm pretty sure he found it as I learned it from him. And yeah, this is annoying to do, because it's very easy to bonk because of the 45 angle patch when you are going up there, or if you leisure up one of those things and they start moving, Mario lets go, so you fall down. It's extremely annoying, to be honest. But yeah, this is the second section of the Bowser stage. It's split in two. This one actually requires more swimming and it's pretty annoying. For some reason I kept failing this triple jump here, and honestly this is not just this attempt, I fail that thing all the time. I don't know why. It's the simplest thing ever. Some more water tube swimming. This one is easier because you have your actual camera. So yeah, it's just there's the pipe. There's not much to say about this. It's just make it in time to reach the cycle. These are some scary double jump kicks, but it's the best moment for that by far. So yeah, here I skipped some swimming by just avoiding the water boxes. I'm not sure if they are supposed to be obstacles actually. But yeah, final Bowser fight. This is probably the hardest thing about the run. Isn't that nice? Hardest thing at the end. The Bowser fight, well, you can grab his tail and there are no bombs. Instead of that, you grab red coins by going to 4 sections that resemble part of previous levels. Right, and it's fairly hard. The sections themselves are fine, but Bowser has this issue. Whenever he jumps, it doesn't matter where he lands, he will send you into tremble if you are like touching the ground, like that. And yeah, that happened. So it's just very tricky to platform like this because, first off, well, and this is my fault, but I wasn't actually listening to the game when I did this run, so I didn't know when Bowser was jumping, so I was kind of YOLOing this. But even if you are, for that section where I died, there's not much you can do. I could have been faster to avoid Bowser cocking me like that, but yeah, that's not how it played out, did it? For that reason and the previous mistakes, I'm pretty sure sub 30 should be doable in this hack, but good luck with that, to be honest. Yeah, this time I didn't get killed by him. But this is not the only dangerous part. I do the water first because the cycle is nice. When you are coming back from the water section, you can go into those disappearing platforms straight away, and that's nice. It's just a little time save. That was scary, but the hard sections will be these two, the disappearing platforms that you saw, and these cogs. Because if Bowser does this, also nice Bowser, he's here too, but if he lands when you are on the side of these things, you don't warp and die. So you need to be very careful. Lastly, this section with the angle wall kicks, this is fine to be honest. You just need to watch out for Bowser when you're coming back. As he could literally not let you do this triple jump. If he lands at the right moment, then yeah, you will die. But yeah, once you collect all red coins, this bottom appears and that kills Bowser somehow, so GG. Shame I took a death after doing the water, but whatever, still a PB, you know. I'm not gonna complain. The last thing you do in this run is just to collect the final star that gives you the ending, and that's 30 stars. So yeah, as final notes, this is a pretty good capture hack. It just happens to be a pretty painful speedrun. And I don't know, maybe one day I'm gonna come back for that top 30, but I'm not sure if that's gonna happen soon or not. Yeah, I actually got pretty frustrated when doing these runs, but I'm happy with the time that I got. And yeah, um, it's still a great hack by itself, and it's impressive what Scalbog managed to do with this hack. So shout out to him, shout out to Andrew for competing as well, and getting some sick runs in this hack. And thank you very much for watching.